Okay, good morning, everyone. So before we start the debate, I would like to ask all of the debaters to state your name and your position starting from the government side.
Okay, good morning. I am Baiduri, the first speaker PM for the government. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Riz Rafikin. I am Deputy Prime Minister from the government.
Good morning. I'm Muhammad Akmal bin Zabidi from the government. I might be the government whip. Thank you.
So continue to the opposition side.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Laila Mastora from FSTA. I will be the opposition leader.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Afif from FSTA, and I will be the deputy leader of opposition for this debate.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Maisara Shazwani binti Waharinata, and I'll be opposition whip for FSTA.
Okay, the House will come to order. I am pleased to welcome you all to this third round of USIM Vice Chancellor Debate Championship 2022. I would like to remind the members of the floor, they may only raise points of information in the constructive speech and only after the first minute and before the last minute of speech. Also, please ensure that your internet connection is stable and your voice is audible. Are there any inquiries before we start?
Yes. May we know who will be giving the reply speeches for both benches?
For opposition, it will be me, the leader of opposition.
For the closing, I will be the one to give the closing speech.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, I call upon the Prime Minister to deliver her speech. The floor is yours.
Lights, camera, action. Thank you to ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I am Baiduri, the Prime Minister for today. Okay. Today we are debating the motion. This House regrets the trend of making violence sympathetic characters in film and media. For example, the Joker, Maleficent, La Casa de Papel, etc. All right. So what does it mean by bad character? By villains? Villains is the bad characters in any movie or in any media. All right. And so we from the government strongly support this motion as it will, as the villain shouldn't be trained and romanticized to create a better society. And for the burden of proof for the opposition to answer, we are asking about how will they counter any possible consequences to the society. And today we have two main points. The first one is normalizing the bad villains, and second, that will be explained by my second speaker, which is romanticizing the violence. And then my third speaker will sum up and rebut our team case. All right, back to the case. We are talking about the trend of making villains sympathetic characters in film and media. Okay, here we are not against the entertainment, but we are regrets to the trend. The trend need to be stopped, isn't it? Everyone needs entertainment to refresh their minds and get relaxed after everyday course, isn't it? Even me myself, I was OMG, I'm so tired. I need some entertainment. It's me, and I believe everyone here is like that too. Okay, the most common way people usually use to entertainment themselves is to watch a movie. Movies are entertaining, but some movies can have a negative impact to the audience, especially children and youth. Youngsters are immature and easily susceptible and to receive any perception. And in this era where movie are their part of our daily life and youth mostly watch it on almost every weekend, can cause a great impact on their mindset, which means the movies, the bad villains, can give a huge bad influence to the kids and youth. All right, here the example. in Maleficent is like a fantasy movie. Even me watching with my kids, with my cousins, isn't it? Okay. And when the character was promoted as a betrayer, and the betrayer allows as a green light for the Maleficent to do the bad things to other people, to the human, the kids will be like, oh, so it's okay if you do the things like this if we are being betrayed by people. They have that kind of assumption. Maybe yes, we can guide them. Oh, no. But the movies, the visual is already saved by their minds. Okay. And then about the next how can we control the kids, isn't it? Even though some may say we already have the Netflix for kids, we already have the YouTube for kids. Yes, it's true, but not that easy. We can control the kids. We cannot control their minds every time, and even everyone today can access, even though we have the password, isn't it? All right. And next, when the villains, sympathetic characters is too many, even in the Marvel produce too many movies with the bad characters, which means why not the producer produce the movies with good things but not a very good things, which means create some conflict, create some crisis from the good characters. It still can be, isn't it? Okay, all right. And when we are talking about the villains that sympathetic characters in film, they are actually misleading the most viral quote, which is don't judge a book by its cover. People will be like, oh, we really cannot judge a book by its cover, but sometimes I think we need to judge a book by its cover. For example, me, when you see me with this kind of hijab, maybe you will have the assumption, oh, she is ready. That kind of, sometimes the judging is a very good thing. Even in debate, we have some judge, isn't it? All right. And next example is about the Joker. Joker is a character with a mental illness, and even in the movie, the producer, the producer allowed the Joker to do the bad thing just because Joker is having his bad time. So what do we see in this in today in the society at the Twitter? Some people are really backlashing other people. Some people are really say bad things, and then he counter back, oh, it's okay, I have depression actually. But then when we check, it is actually just from the DASS test and not from the certified psychology. So that is what we don't want in our society. We shouldn't be we shouldn't trend and romanticize the sympathetic characters to create a better society. This is not we need a better movie. We need a better storyline that can give the good impact for the society in a very good long progress, which means to create a better generation, since the movies are actually being watched by many social status, and being watched by so many age people. Okay. And then again, I want to highlight that we are not against the entertainment, but we regrets to the trend. We don't need this to create a better society, and then trend need to be stopped. And even if you want me to explain more, I would like to explain about the La Casa, about how we really romanticize the criminal. And actually, I have a question to the opposition. Is by being villain is the only way to escape and express the bad feelings? And next, I will pass my after this, I will pass this floor to my my second speaker to explain more about the romanticized violence. Okay. And again, I highlight again my stance. With that, I believe in this motion as the villains shouldn't be trend and romanticized to create a better society. Thank you.
Thank you to the Prime Minister for the speech. The speaker spoke for 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, I would like to call upon Leader of Opposition to deliver her speech. The floor is yours.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Before I start my speech, can you see and hear me clearly without any lagging? Okay, thank you. Also, for the timekeeper, can I see the stopwatch?
Wait a minute.
Okay. Okay, if the timekeeper is ready, then I am also ready. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum and good morning. I bid to Ms. Chairperson, the wise educators, accurate timekeeper, my worthy opponents of the government side, and also my loyal comrades of the opposition team, and to the members of the House. I welcome all to this debate with the motion. This House regrets the trend of making villains sympathetic characters in films and media. So, I am Laila Mastura and I will be the leader of opposition. And as the first speaker from the opposition side, I will be doing 2 things. Firstly, I would rebut the case brought by the Prime Minister and also to present one argument from our side with the focus of the the impact of making these villain sympathetic characters to the character themselves and to the story. Meanwhile, my second speaker, Mr. Afif, will be presenting his arguments focusing to the viewers and also the industry. My opposition with Ms. Maisarah will deconstruct the debate and show you why we are correct in our stance and why this motion should fall. So, before I go deeper into our stance and our arguments, I would like firstly to rebut the Prime Minister's definition of villain. Actually, not actually rebutting, I would like to expand more. So she said that villain is the bad character. So actually, I am a bit confused on how you would characterize a bad character. So instead of just defining a villain as a bad character, I would like to define it, expand the definition to that characters who are doing bad things or in cases that are against the protagonist of a story. Okay, so also she did not define on the sympathetic characters, so I would like to define that also. Sympathetic characters means that you have a character who the viewers can sympathize with, so they can relate more and they can understand the character more. Okay, so she have also provided a burden of proof for us in which that we have to counter any possible consequences of having sympathetic villains. So which I believe that it would fall under my DLO's speech, the second point. Okay, so her point is that so she onto her points, she said that she gave an example of Maleficent where she said that being betrayed, the Maleficent, the main character, being betrayed is a green light to do violence, which if you think of just by with one look, yes, you may seem it like that, but you have to understand, Maleficent, she was not just betrayed, just by having her wings cut off by a person who she trusts, which in this case is the then priest, now king, is actually an analogy for being raped. So why? The story goes that the Maleficent story is a revenge story where the Maleficent is betrayed, or in this an analogy for being raped by her trusted friend, and then she want to revenge.
Bye.
To revenge. No, thank you, not yet. So in that way, in the setting of the world, you can see that there is no actual legal system, the justice system for the fairies and also the humans. So in that way, the only way Maleficent could get her revenge is by do violence. And so we are not apologizing that her. Instead, we can say that her violence, her reason to do violence, to actually hurt the family of the king, is actually not just because she wants to do it. It is because she was betrayed and she wants to get retribution.
AI.
And also, and then she goes on to the Joker. She says that Joker is mentally ill, and so the mental disease is a green light to do violence also, which I believe, again, if you look at one by one pass, it does seem like that. But actually, the movie Joker is also can be a learning process for the psychiatrist, so that you can see how mentally ill people can do bad things. So it would raise the question, it would raise the need for people to understand more, to help more about these mentally ill people. Also, she said that how to control the kids when they watch this movie. So you have to remember that these movies, the Maleficent and also the Joker, they are rated. You have to have parental guidance. So the kids would not watch the movies by themselves. They would have an adult supervision to watch it. And also, she said how to control the kids after doing. So that she said that not easy to control the kids' mindset. So actually, it falls under the responsibility of their guardians and also parents. You are the parents, so you have to educate them what they should do. Okay, so on to my first point, in which that for the characters, making villain sympathetic characters, it actually adds complexity to the character. So when you have to make a sympathetic villains, you have to make the backstory. You have to show what motivates them to do the violence, and what makes them villains, and not just as 2D villains. So when you have this motivation, when you have the backstory, maybe it can be tragic, it may be just a simple backstory, and so it actually adds layers to the character, and so the viewers would find that the character would be more interesting, would be more, maybe in some cases would be more relatable. I'm sorry, it's not more relatable. The viewers can actually understand why the villains actually do these bad things. So when you have interesting, maybe you can have an interesting protagonist, and also you have these interesting villains. Actually, by having these two characters who are very well fleshed out, they are very complex, are more interesting, you could actually have a better story, and you could have actually make the story more attractive to other people. You can see that the protagonists have their own motivation, and the villains also have their own motivations. In that way, there would be more conflicts. She said that there the conflicts in the story. So actually, by making this villain sympathetic, there would be more there would be more conflicts, which would make the interactions between the protagonists and villains more interesting. So you could have better stories. And also, when you have sympathetic villains, these complex characters, the writers could explore the possibilities of they could go, and not just they do bad things for the sake of doing bad things. Is that I would like to restate my stance. The opposition team stance is that we oppose this motion because we believe that having sympathetic villains actually does more good than harm. With that, I end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you to the Leader of Opposition for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes. Now, I would like to call upon Deputy Prime Minister to deliver his speech. The floor is yours.
I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning to the speakers of the hall, wise panels of educators, accurate timekeeper, worthy opponents, comrades, but last but not least, members of the floor. So today we are debating the resolution that this house regret the trends of making villain sympathetic characters in film and media, as example, the Joker, Maleficent, and La Casa de Papel. So we are on the government team strongly agree on this resolution. So first, I will refuse and rebut the point given by the opposition, by the First Minister, and by the first opposition leader, and then I will give my point. So first of all, I will rebut. So as the first opposition leader state that the Maleficent state that as the Maleficent in the world of Maleficent, there's no legal system, so there is no justice, so she can get her revenge. But did she know that in the world of Maleficent itself, in the world of Maleficent live itself, they are not actually allowed to bring humans in. So this is her mistake at first place to bring her in. So this is the consequences that she should be taking. So and then she give a Joker. We have legal system in Joker, ladies and gentlemen. So this normalize. This shouldn't be normalized. The actions of Joker, should be normalized. Okay, I should be normalized. And then I'll be rebutting her point. She said that this will add complexity. So first of all, we stated that the burden of proof that they need to counter consequences to the society. And this point given by the government, this point given by the opposition leader is nonsense. It doesn't relating to the burden of proof. They didn't prove anything. That's by adding complexity doesn't counter any consequences, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why she's keep telling this point, but this is. And then she also said that these characters adding complexity is getting more relatable, relatable towards the people. Aren't they agree because of relatable because of these guys of people, they have depression, the Joker have depression, so are they actually agreeing on violence? Are they agreeing in doing crime? Okay, I leave to your opinions, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we are not. I hope we are in the same. I hope we are on the same page. So we can't agree with this kind of thing. So moving on to my point. So my point is we should that this kind of trend is romanticizing violence. Okay, as we can see, the Joker itself, he killed people, he do crime just because he have depressions. And then the Maleficent, she betraying people, she killed people also just because of revenge. La Casa de Papel, they do robbing, they encourage a riot just because the governments aren't fair enough. The government aren't being justice towards all people. So this kind of people. So as we can see at this kind of thing is actually against the law. This kind of thing, we are romanticizing violence, ladies and gentlemen. We are romanticizing violence as this. Because this world we have law, we have justice. We don't always go. Are we actually encouraging people to kill people just because I have depression? I should kill people, and people will say, I have the right to kill people because I have depression. And then she betrayed me, I can kill her, I can get my revenge. We have law, ladies and gentlemen. What the point of living law? Okay, what's the point of living law? And this kind of thing, we encourage people. We encourage people to do bad things. So what's the point of teaching students, teaching people that there's a morality? What's the point of school teaching moral subjects? What's the point of people, parents? What's the point of teachers? What's the point of society itself? No, thank you. I haven't finished my point. Against the policy of law, the moral, that this kind of thing. What's the point? What's the point of giving that we are actually allowing them to do? We are allowing them to do crime. So
Your eye, please.
yes.
Okay, so you said that morals, in your explanation, you said that morals are more like black and white things, but actually morals are a gray measure. There is no actual black and white. So by having these sympathetic characters, you would actually teach the gray matters of the morals, the gray morals.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here because of this sympathetic character. They are allowing crimes. They are allowing crimes. And crime isn't morally right. It's simple. Crime isn't morally right. How is crime morally right, ladies and gentlemen? Please be rational. Okay, there's a study on behavior of science which this kind of movie, study of by the behavioral science that kids that watch this kind of movie, they have kids, they have their actions toward elderly got worse. So this even scientifically proven by the behavioral science that kids are affected by this kind of where we're romanticizing doing bad thing. I think we believe that these kids will grow up and then we believe, oh, maybe this we can do this. Maybe we can do this because maybe we can do this because we are putting this kind of people as a main character. So they believe that I can be that, I can do that because he's a main character. I can be the main character also. So I believe that we should encourage more on doing a heroism movie. So we have Superman, we have a movie like Marvel. They are encouraging a lot of things. We see a lot of kids. They are very influenced by this kind of actions by these heroism people to do more good things, to help more to the society and to help more the society, and which the study in 2016 by Behave Better stated that this kid behave better when and confidently and morally when they watch this kind of more towards heroism movie. So we should focus on this, not this kind of movie. So I believe that in the end, what I told you, I've rebutted the point given by the opposition leader, and then I also presented to you that this trend can romanticizing violence. I feel with that we are on the opposition, we are on the government team strongly agree that this kind of thing is agree that the trend of making villain sympathetic characters in film should. We agree on this thing. Thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Prime Minister for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 27 seconds. Now, we shall hear the speech from the Deputy Leader of Opposition. The floor is yours.
Hello, am I audible? Can you see me clearly? Okay, thank you. Okay, I will be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Muhammad Afif and I will be the Deputy Leader of Opposition for this debate. And what I will be doing is I will first rebut the points made by the second speaker, the Deputy Prime Minister, and I will be moving on to the points that I would like to present, which will help build my case. Now, before I would start my speech, I would like to first restate my stance, in which it is we oppose the motion because we believe that sympathetic villains in media and TV does more good than harm. And first, I would like to rebut the points made by the Deputy Prime Minister, in which he talks about how you think that these sympathetic villain movies are promoting violence. We think that these movies are where to teach people about, oh, you can be violent in order to get revenge. But if that is the way you perceive these movies, then maybe you haven't watched the movie or you are very misunderstood. Because the point in the movie, because you are misunderstanding the point. Because the point of the movie is actually about sending a message about the villain's backstory, about what makes a person a villain, which I will later explain it in my point. But the killing, I would like to respond like the killing and the murdering in the movies are, in a cinematic sense, exaggerates the weight of the consequences of the actions of the people around the villain. Because it is an easy way to convey the message. No, thank you. It is an easy way to convey the message without having to tell directly to the viewers in what sense are they being punished. So why do I say that this is an exaggeration? Because as we all know, supervillains do not actually exist, at least not to that degree. So by exaggerating the consequences, it urges people to think more, even if it encourages people to think more of what the weight of their actions are. Now, I would like to move on to my points, in which my first point is, I believe that the reason why sympathetic villains in movies and TV are made is because they want to send a message that villains are human. Because the real reason behind these movies is not about being apologetic towards terrible people, apologetic towards people who
PI,
do heinous crime. Yes, what is your PI?
you said that this kind of movie send a message to the people, but how does this count? How does it answer our burden of proof?
What is your burden of proof? I would like to
Our
move on
burden
to
of proof. Our burden of proof is how do that you should count? How do you provide counters on the consequences to the society?
yeah, I'm talking about it right now. The message behind this movie is that they want to talk about why villains are human. It's not about being apologetic towards these terrible people. It's rather to send a message to the viewers about what makes someone a villain, what their surroundings, the people around them, their friends, their families, how all that affects these people in order for them to turn into villains. Because let's be real, these tragic backstories help explain these issues. If we refer to a very 2D or flat villain, a very generic villain, they don't really explain in depth on what makes them an actual villain. So not only people can relate more, can understand the villain more, it also shows that it also implies that people can be villainous without any actual or rational reason. So this what we are trying to say is that when these villains their backstories are shown, they become more people are becoming more sympathetic towards them. It's not because they think that the movie is not telling them, hey, you should forgive people for doing bad things. Rather, what they are trying to say is that be careful of what you do to other people because you don't know how it affects them. It encourages the people to be more attentive to the people around them, encourages the viewers to feel like, hey, maybe I shouldn't treat my friends so harshly. Shouldn't treat my work. I shouldn't abuse my workmates. I shouldn't abuse my employees because I don't know what they are living through. I shouldn't torture them to the point where they become unstable mentally and have very bad intentions. So, in a sense, we actually believe these villainous movies are actually encouraging positive effects on the society.
POI, please.
And no, thank you. And the rumors that these movies are encouraging negative effects is very exaggerated. Why do I say so? Because if we refer to the movie Joker, there's an incident in where during the movie's premiere in the United States of America, the US government has ordered people to send policemen to guard the cinema in order to prevent any outbreak. And what happened? So what do you think happened? Nothing happened. Nothing happened at the cinema and at the theater. And also we can see like a lot of people on the internet who like, or they pretend like they are idolizing the Joker, making memes about it. But what happens? But do you see an uprising in crime? No, not really. And on to my second point, we think that by making these movies, it adds variation to the film industry because when these movies are made, they are made in a non-generic format, which helps filmmakers to grow more creatively. And when these movies become more mainstream, it becomes a genre that they can safely work on without having to worry about financially. So it is a positive effect, not only for the viewers, but also for the filmmakers to grow more creatively. Now, it also intrigues the potential viewers to the movie because it has a unique setting and it's not your typical superhero movie. So it also benefits the film industry as well. So with everything that I've said, I believe I have made my point clear. I believe that I have answered your burden of proof. And I would like to restate my stance in which we oppose this motion because we believe that it does more good than harm. And with that, I end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Leader of Opposition for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 10 seconds. We shall now hear the speech from the government whip. The floor is yours.
I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay, so I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Crime in Malaysia manifests in various forms, including murder, drive by killing, drug trafficking, money laundering, fraud, and black marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant day I bid to the speaker, the timekeeper, the judges, the appreciated audience, of course, and the opposition team and the government team, which is my side. From the opposition speech, we can conclude that our country will have a very bad effect in case any of these people become a lawyer for this country, or even worse, if any of these people become the minister of this country. and this is why this house regret the trend of making villain sympathetic characters in film and media. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to stick with our stances, which is we want to create a better society for our citizens in this country. Repeating the points from the fellow government, which is first, we don't want our citizen to normalizing villain character. This is a solid point. So thank you for my Prime Minister to state this. Why this is a solid point? Because it is an example. Here is an example. Since the release of the Netflix series called La Casa de Papel, a lot of our Malaysian citizen, it happened in our country. A lot of our citizens start to impress with a robbery that involved 12 million Malaysian ringgit that happened in 1994. This robbery happened to Malaysia, and who encouraged them? This movie, La Casa de Papel, which is, no, that's not what I mean. But since the movie, a lot of our citizens impressed with the robbery that have been made. Here, I can tell that this is not a good thing to our citizens. And also, I would like to repeat the second point of my fellow government. This kind of movie can be the reason the citizen starts to romanticizing violence. As the point that Prime Minister have said, Joker commit criminal just because he is in a bad phase. As my Prime Minister said, this could be the excuse of someone committing a crime. And let's say I want to record a quote from the movie of Joker. This is the line from Joker. This is the line that Joker said. The only sensible way to live in this world is without rules. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the movie that you want to show to our teenager? Let's say teenager, that is the main target, teenager, and then every single of our citizen. This is not a good thing. Okay, so and for now I want to rebut a few points from the opposition side. Okay, so as the opposition leader have said that the parental guidance will avoid the influence to the kid, I believe that this point is actually out of topic. I'm sorry, but this point is actually out of topic. And why is that? Because parental guidance is the parents' commitment. We, as a government, trying to tell you about our commitment and what we could do to avoid bad influence to our citizen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want to state. We, a government, talking about our commitment. We're not talking about the parents' commitment. We're not talking about the teachers' commitment. That is their commitment. We, as a government, doing our job, doing our commitment. And the real point of the movie, I'm sorry, the deputy, DOL something, the deputy opposition leader said that the real point of this movie is to tell about villain's background story and not normalizing the violence. Yes, okay, that might be true. That is the main point. Okay, but let's say about the other point that have been involved with this movie. Let's say the movie didn't show the bad consequences to those criminals, which means they are encouraging and supporting the crime towards citizens. The citizen will look at this movie, will watch this movie and be like, there's no bad consequences, will be the outcomes of what we want to do. So this is still the point where I want to say that the point is still encouraging the criminal in our citizen to our citizen. And so now I want to compare a few things from what I said, which is from my rebuttal. As I said, that parental guidance is the parents' commitment, and here we are trying to do our commitment, which is relate to my fellow government point, which is we are avoiding normalizing violence and romanticizing violence. I'm sorry, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is how we do it. we and this how we do it. This is why we regret the trend of making villain sympathetic characters in film and media. And also, I'm sorry. And also for the second comparison. So when it comes to the real point of this movie, let's talk about the effect of this movie, effect of the other side for this movie. You know what I mean is they didn't show that they're not showing. It's not a documentary, it's a movie. It's a movie. It's not only documentary of telling a background story of the villain. It's not. So what I want to say that there is still a lot of other thing that they show in this movie, which means this other thing which be the reason why the citizen normalizing violence and romanticizing bad character for our citizen. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we regret this is why this house regret the trend of making villain sympathetic characters in film and media. So after all, the government stands strong with our belief that the trend of making villain sympathetic characters in film and media, I've never been prouder to say that the government will win this debate. Thank you.
Thank you to the government whip for the speech. The speaker spoke for 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, I would like to call upon opposition whip to deliver the speech. The floor is yours.
Hello. Am I audible? Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning I bid to Ms. Speaker and the educators as well as the members of the hall. So today's motion is still, this house regrets the trend of making villains sympathetic characters in film and media. First of all, I would like to restate that our side, the opposition team, strongly oppose this motion, as having sympathetic villains does more good than harm. So, as the opposition whip, I would be rebutting all the points laid out by the government team, as well as reaffirm my team's case. So first things first, let's see what the government, the Prime Minister has to say about this motion. First of all, she just defines what villains are as they're just simply bad characters. And as mentioned by my opposition leader, she didn't clearly characterize what sympathetic villains are. She just said villains as a whole. So okay, and next she said that why they support this motion is because they can give a huge influence on kids and people, and they're not against entertainment, but about the message itself. And she also gives about this example about Maleficent, and she said that it's a story about betrayal, and that because of she was betrayed, she went to do violence in order to get even with. Really watch Maleficent. Technically, she I guess in a way, the bad thing that she actually did was that she just cursed the child. She never really did anything bad in particular, because at the end of the day, the humans were the one invading her place. That's why she murdered them. That's why she killed them, because they were invading. And even after she cursed the child, she took care of her. So in a way, she is not really yes, she's a villain in the sense that she cursed the child, but at the end of the day, she became a good character. And the Prime Minister stated that when there are too many villains, when there are too many villains, they can create like this sort of place where yeah, okay, excuse me, okay, she also said that using the phrase don't cut we can't judge a book by its cover, and she said that sometimes we have to judge a book by its cover. But I don't really oppose that, because sure, we have to be careful at times, but in a sense, by it's as if you're promoting that we should just we should just judge a book by its cover. When you see someone looks has this kind of scorn face, like they just have this angry face all the time, you just assume that must be a bad guy. But well, that's the point of the movies themselves. They show this other side of the characters, which shows that they are human and they are not really villains themselves. They're not technically evil for the sake of being evil. Okay, okay. She also state an example about Joker, and about that he has mental health and whatnot, and because of the mental health, he made that as an excuse to commit murder. Well, I'm not saying that okay, mental health is not an excuse to commit violence, and but however, it shows how the characters are human. So having these sympathetic villains shows that they are human. It shows that sure, they have mental health, but because of that mental health, and also not just because of the mental health, they were also pressured by the society around them, which caused them to sorry, no thank you, okay, which caused them to lash out. Because okay, let me ask you a question: how long can you stay still, can you stay not doing anything when you are pressured by society around you, when you are bullied, when you are constantly mocked and given all these negative inputs? Of course, at one point you would break. And some people, they don't sorry, no thank you, they don't lash out. There are also sometimes they don't just lash out, sometimes they break down and yeah, and whatnot and whatnot.
Please, my lady. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next, they said that we need to make better movies to create a better society instead of using sympathetic characters. Well, I'd say that do you really think, I would like to ask that, do you really think that movies filled with let's say we put in heroes as the main, and like movies that are like so-called filled with rainbows and sunshines can change the world's view? If anything, they only provide the world of fantasy. They will just cover people's minds with this fantasy-like setting, when these sympathetic villains are there to show the reality of the world itself, not just like masking what's underneath the surface. So the Deputy Prime Minister stated that she mentioned about romanticizing violence and such. But as my second speaker stated, that it is about the message. The message is not about romanticizing violence. It's about changing the world's view. With that, I end my speech.
Thank you to the opposition whip for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 8 seconds. Now, both of the government and opposition are being given 1 minute to prepare their reply speech. 1 minute start from now. The time is up. I call upon the speaker from the opposition side to deliver their reply speech. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Am I audible and visible clearly? Okay, thank you, Ms. Valerie, for the confirmation. Okay, so I will start my reply speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum. Good morning, and we meet again in the second last speech of this morning's debate. I am Laila Mastura, and I will be delivering the reply speech from the opposition side, where I would summarize the debate and show to you why we, the opposition side, are winning to this debate. So today's debate is on the motion this house regrets the trend of making villain sympathetic characters in films and media. So, and as the opposition side, we firmly oppose. We very much would like to oppose. And as the opposition team, we believe that this motion should fall. So, to summarize today's debate, I would say that there is 3 main clashes for today's debate. So, in the way that the first clash is that what kind of message is these villains are sending to the viewers. So the government side said that these sympathetic villains promote violence, while we on the opposition side say that these sympathetic villains are actually humans, which can be understand and not just which can be understand the story behind of their evil deeds. So in that sense, the points given by my DLO is that these sympathetic sympathetic characters are sending message that villains are humans to the viewers, so that actually these villains does not just wake up and choose violence, and so also they have their story of why they do their evil deeds. So in that way, they are showing to the viewers that these villains are just humans. They have also their flaws. In regards to why they do their evil deeds, is that they are humans, they are flawed. So they are not just these villains not just promotes violence. It shows off why actually these villains, these evil characters do violence. So in that way, what kind of the message is that the government side said that this the message sent is to promote violence, where we actually say that these villains actually send the message that these villains are humans that can be understand and can be helped. So onto the second clashes is that about the cost and consequences of these villains, of these sympathetic villains. So the government said that these villains in the movies, these villains have no consequences, while we on the opposite side believe that actually in the movies themselves, these villains have the actually receive the consequences of being a villain, in which just by being a villain is the consequences itself. You are shunned by the society, you are not accepted in the society, people hate you. So in that way, for the clash of cost and consequences, in which side actually cater to the clashes of what kind of these villains send, is that just by being a villain is actually the consequences itself. So the having sympathetic villains actually send the message that that you cannot just being evil for the sake of being evil. Also, the third crisis is that whether the fantasy or reality. These movies are mostly set in a fantasy world for Maleficent, and sometimes in the real world. So the government are in a fantasy world where they believe that these characters are being evil for the sake of being evil, while we on the opposite side believe that these evil these sympathetic villains are actually what the current society are actually going through. They have their own cases, and this may cause people to choose violence, to choose to do evil. So in that way, whether you would like to stay in a fantasy world where they could only be rainbows and shine, or whether you want to put your feet in the reality where there are actually people needing help. So if you believe in that, I implore to you to choose opposition. With that, I end my speech.
Now, to conclude, let's welcome the speaker from the government side to give their reply speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have debating about this house regrets the trend of making villains sympathetic characters in film and media. For example, the Joker, Maleficent, La Casa de Papel, and etc. And our burden of proof is we want the opposition side to prove how will they counter any possibility, any possible consequences to the society. We want the solution, guys. We want the solution. And today, previously in Japan, there was someone with a Joker cosplay did the violence at the public train. Is that what we want for our country? Is that what we want for the future generation? The cosplayer been there and do the crimes just because of they are human. They are human. I am a human too. I am a prime minister. As a prime minister, I don't want that to be on my people. I don't want. I want my country to be a very peaceful country, not a place where the people is doing the cosplay and the crime just because of I am a cosplayer. I am a human. That's so nonsense. Okay, so the opposition, so today I want to highlight the mistake done by the opposition and stated why we need to win this case. All right, the opposition didn't understand and answer the BOD as I just stated just now, what the consequences, they don't understand that. And even the opposition didn't give any counter of any possible consequences. And more, the opposition didn't give any POI to the government's first speaker and the third speaker, and even didn't accept they just accept one POI from me. So just a question to the opposition. Are you actually agree with our stance? Okay. Even when you stated that you want to benefit the industry with creativity, but the society is really little by little, just like a rotten apple, you know. It's like we want to do the criminals as little by little, the society is rotten by. Okay. And about the storyline and the creativity, there are actually many movies and film that promote good things with relatable and motivation with a very good storyline. For example, do you know the Will Smith? Will Smith, if I'm not mistaken, the Pursuit of Happiness. Do you know how many tears I fall just because of the movie? Also, I really love that movie because of it show how my parents love me. It show how it is like a proof that love is there. The love is exists. The love is not just a fantasy. We don't need a very superhero things. I not against the superhero actually, but we can do creativity in other way, not just in one way. We need to think out of the box. Okay, and next, we from the government also defend our point by stating the parents, the teachers' commitment is not really answering our case because we are talking about the producer. We are talking about the movie, not about the responsibility of the other stakeholders. And then we are more talking about the teenagers, young people. It is because it is too hard to control their curiosity, etc. In fact, they are our future generation. They are our future leader. So as a prime minister, who will be the next prime minister? I don't want a criminal to be a next prime minister. Oh, How can I just do more things, more benefit things, but they just rule like that? Oh, I don't want. I don't want. Okay, how can Casa de Papel can help us to have a better leader? Oh, I really don't believe in that. Okay, and even Batman, a hero, stated this: if you kill a killer, the number of killer in this world won't change. It won't change, everybody. It won't change. Or due to all the points that we have been clashing, maybe the sympathetic villain is here. I'm just asking. Therefore, we win this point since the affirmative team, since the opposition team has never responded to a lot of things, and overall we win our key points and have refuted the opposition team. Therefore, we win this debate and ask you to choose our stance and have a better generation for our future needs. Thank you.
Thank you to both of the speakers. That is all for this round's debate session. On behalf of the House, I would like to thank all of the adjudicators for the assistance and also to congratulate to all the debaters for your performance. Now the host will assign all of the educators to a breakout room, and the other debaters please remain in the room for the meantime. Thank you.